Ladies and gentlemen, today is our first display in the studio, and we are introducing a new discussion of Kenyan politics and African and biased situation. We want to give regular Kenyans and regular Africans a voice in politics, and it's my glad that you'll be able to join me. My name is Njiro Maura, and I'm a political enthusiast. And we will be talking and discussing how we can be able to change our country. Welcome. Those who might be willing to join me in the studio, you can use that link. So there is a lot to discuss in the changing wave of the Kenyan politics and what we need to understand moving forward, and more so analyzing how different political factions are trying to maneuver, and also how we can be able to be politically important and relevant, and how we can be able to offer politically motivated issues, and also offering solutions which delivering our people with an aim of educating our people on how to understand politics and how to choose leaders correctly. So this program will be very important in awakening the sleeping giant, the sleeping souls. Some of the people who say that they don't understand politics, they are not apolitical, or they are not political, they are very apolitical, I mean. So this station will offer a lot of value to those people, especially educating them and making them understand we are living in a time whereby we cannot sideline politics in our day-to-day life, because politics influences everything. So welcome, and it's my glad joy that we will be able to enjoy a very good program today, and I look forward to engaging with each one of you people individually as we try to advise each other on what is the best political acumen which will be able to help us, which are the formations, and how do formations come about. So we are here to build a movement. We are here to understand how we can liberate ourselves and how we can be able to build a transformative agenda for our people. So, as you know, this week there are so many things which have happened. I think last week Mr. Odinga decided that he is going to vie for the AU position. So that is one of the things which is happening now. Mr. Ruto was, or President Ruto was given a position to hand a certain organ within the AU. And you have also seen how Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta is maneuvering, together with some other things which are happening in different political parties in Kenya. So we need to look at that, and what do you think is going to happen moving forward? Today, I just wanted to largely concentrate with this decision of Mr. Odinga, and what are the ramification effects of that decision moving forward. How is that decision going to affect the formations, the current formations of political parties, the current decisions? What could happen moving forward? We try to unearth that. First of all, we need to understand that politics comes with numbers, and numbers are built either by, like especially in Africa, mostly in Africa, we build numbers based on tribal alignments. But also you can also build the numbers from ideologies. Like you can follow a certain person who thinks in a certain way. Yeah, so that's why, like for example, those are the people where now we add ISM like you can follow a person because you believe that person is a good person. He can fulfill what you think as a human being. So first of all, Mr. Odinga is an old man. He has been in the Kenyan political scene from 80s, 90s, and he has seasoned from Moi politics to Kebake politics and to Uhuru politics and now Ruto. But there is one common thing which we need to identify with all that. To some extent, Mr. Odinga gives in so quickly, and I don't know why. So he looks very serious initially while he is doing his political idea. When things go haywire, I don't know what happens with him. Many Kenyans have described him as somebody who camouflages and he is able to live at the moment, and he is able to repackage himself. To some extent, I also doubt that because politics also rewards people who are hitched, people who do not move goalposts at times. And people need to be strict on what they follow and what they do. Their political ideology is very important. And I think those are some of the things which regular Kenyans always would want to follow or would want to see from a serious politician. So, and I think we now need to start seeing politicians who are following some form of ideology, people who are able to think that these are the problems which Kenyans or Africans are facing, and this is how we are going to solve them. And then they package solutions from there. So Mr. Odinga is going to abandon his ODM party. Then, after abandoning his ODM party, because by the fact that he wants to become the chair of the commission for the African Union, he has to remove his cloth of politics because the position is very apolitical. It requires you not to be talking too much of politics. You cannot show support to politicians. But remember also, politics is what has built Mr. Odinga for close to 40 years. That is the biggest thing he has. And now, is this the right way to lose it? Is this the right version to lose it? You can think. So, hoping that in the AU there is not much competition, or maybe different countries are going to agree to support him, putting that constant. But what happens to where he is coming from? Number one, there are going to be some fights, shivering fighting most of the time. Different political parties are now going to feel that they now deserve also to lead that movement. There's a new movement, if I may call it that way. And they are going to feel that now both ODM and all the other parties, they now have an equal play in politics. Based on that, some political parties could connive into other political parties, or some are going to die, or some are going to quit the formation. However, we also need to understand that KKE on the other side, they are working on their formula for re-election in 2027. You realize that in Kenya, re-elections are always a problem. Kibaki and issues of re-election. Moi also and issues of re-election. Uhuru also and issues of re-election, because you can imagine even if the election was quashed before Mr. Odinga and quit going to the polling station. So in Kenya, elections are always a danger. You have to be creative. It is, and naturally, re-elections, you are always faced by a very tough opponent. So one of the blessings which KKA is seeing is that with Odinga out, they feel that maybe they will not be having a very strong political figure from any political divide. But you don't know, the third fiddle, that is unaffiliated people who feel they can offer solutions, could also wake up and they galvanize people on an agenda. And I know one of the things that Mr. Ruto might not want to is people using the current wave or the current issues which are happening in the country and using that to catapult their political interest. And I think it would be good for serious Kenyans who are endowed and they have money, even if they don't have political experience, they should think of how they can form movements and formations which can make them bid for presidency. Because actually, if you have big ideas and good ideas, you can actually make it in the current political front. So people should not shy away. If you think you have some financial muscle, and you can move outside and explain what you are going to do to Kenyans, actually Kenyans can listen to you. So this idea of looking politics at the lens of the major political parties, UDA, Azimio, can actually be defeated if we get serious people and the people who are ready to go to the people and explain the agenda. So very important about that. So, and we need to be clear, because the truth of the matter is that we can be able to change our politics. We can transform the trajectory of how our politics moves if we are able to have visionary and people who can understand our foundations right from our forefathers, with an aim of linking us with more development and more visions moving forward. That is what we have not been able to achieve for the last 60 years of independence. So there is an opportunity to change what Kenyans and what Africans think. There is an opportunity to make things work for the right reasons. So KKA, they are in the process of packaging themselves. I don't know, they will be able to explain much about what they have done, their agenda. Kenyans will be looking at the plan, Mama Mboga thing, border thing. That is the small scale. That is small scale. So there must be some indicators which must make, especially like we are even having the AFCON. People will be monitoring how they will fuel the economy for the AFCON. So those are some of the. So now they have a litmus test, which will put them into trial. And 2027 could become very scary for them, especially if we can be able to get a serious third fiddle candidates who can be able to launch issue-based politics. Because now KKA will be judged out of the work they have done. But this other guy who will come to challenge them will be judged on where he is coming from and what he is going to do. He will not be judged very harshly. The reason why Mr. Odinga was judged very harshly in the previous election, it is because he was with Uhuru Kenyatta, and Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, people judged him harshly. People thought that things were not moving because of Uhuru Kenyatta. We will still review his presidency. I think in Kenya we are not able to give a scorecard of how somebody was able to perform throughout his presidency. And I think we have to start having presidential historians who can be able to compare different presidential regimes, and they can tell us how every president performed. Although from out of the four who have ruled us, I have scored them personally. I score Kibaki number one. Then there is Uhuru Kenyatta, and then Moi so far. That's how I score them. Although we need more data to do that, like we need more transformative figures which can show us like indicators why we are scoring them that way. And we need we keep on improving those numbers moving forward. So we need presidential historians to work on that. So that is an area whereby presidential historians can advise us that how our politics is faring. Another thing which is key, which we have to understand, is politics has to be intertwined with culture and how people coexist and how people exist. It looks like the Kenyan politics has been unable to bring the tribes as a confluence for growth, but rather we have brought tribes as confluence for division. And that is one of the things which has made us actually not utilize the full potential of our tribes, but rather we use them as division organs. So that is one of the things which new politicians can actually look at. Now that's an opportunity we can explore now. Another thing we can be able to explore other people is how we can be able to build new opportunities for Africans within Africa. There are things we can do as a people, and we can actually be able to understand that Africa is a growing continent and Kenya is a growing country where we are growing in both population and in opportunities. But we still remain behind because we still have high levels of unemployment. Well, unemployment and population increase, they don't seem to go side by side. One is going to the positive direction, another one is going to the negative direction. We need to unify that, and that's an area whereby the next crop of leaders have to address. I don't think KKA has the means to address that. So there is a lot, and there is a lot of gap politically where a new politician can come and start working on. But moving forward, we have to start building political machineries which are outside individuals. Or if we have to build political philosophies within individuals, they have to be serious individuals, people who do not age, people who stand on those points, come rain, come sunshine, come cold. But every time when you support people who do not have standing point, people can be bought anytime, people cannot fight fiercely, you end up being auctioned or being taken to where you never wanted. And these are some of the people, actually these people who do not have a hedge point. They are the ones who actually make countries get devastated. They are the people who make countries actually get dictators or people who are not very good leaders. So we have to start looking at people who have standpoints, people who are robust, people who are thinkers, people who do not move easily. That is one of the things which we have been lacking. And I think as a person, even me, my next crop of leaders, I'm looking at people with the stands, people with the principles. People can be followed because of something. So we are now changing the trajectory of how we look at African politics in or Kenyan politics in overall. But so far, personally, I believe Mr. Odinga needed to have thought much independently on this decision, because I don't think this decision he made it independently. It's a decision which he was influenced. And to me, I think it is killing much of his political leverage, which he has amassed for close to 40 years. Let's assume that he doesn't secure this seat. Is he going to return back to Kenyans and tell them that now Tibim tuanzie 2027? It will be difficult. There are some people who have already abandoned him by the fact that they feel he has lost that cloth which he uses. Ya mtetezi mkombozi, the fighter cloth has been lost. So time will tell. I do not wholesomely criticize him on that. It could be his only exit strategy which he wanted to do. But I think he needed to be a little bit honest to his supporters and advise them on what to do at every time. because I feel since the election and now, when he made this decision, there are some fishy things which were happening, and he was not very clear to his supporters. I think Odinga supporters, to some extent, they stand cheated. They stand cheated, and that is one of the ball game we have to raise moving forward. Any politician in Kenya, any serious politician in Kenya, he has now to rise above that, and we have people who are dependable at all time. People who can fight by tooth, by nail, because it is possible. But I think to some extent, when it becomes too hot, I think Mr. Odinga releases a pin. So maybe that's a learning lesson. Personally, I have learned. The next crop of leaders, we need people who stand at any point without changing. That's what we miss. Maybe that could be the reason why Mr. Odinga actually has not managed to become the president. Maybe to some extent, some people understand him too much, and they are able to bring sideways issues to him, and he abandons his goalpost. I think so far I have understood that there could be some things, that character of not being too much rigid, I think could be the reason why he was not able to secure presidency all that time. I feel for him. It's quite unfortunate for somebody to try close to 5 times. He doesn't make it. But I think his character can explain why he has not managed to do it. It's unfortunate, but any upcoming politician has to go beyond this. You need rigid points. Ukifika, kuna pahali wewe ukifika, you will not move. Those are the things which make leaders. Leaders have to be strong and unhinged. Unhinged. You have to stand on something, and you stand totally. At times people say that you need to give in, but always when you are giving in, remember, you always give in to the devil. There is nothing like giving in. When you give in, you always give in to the worst. This thing which is called compromise is always going for the worst. At times, being robust and standing for something will always make sure that things move into a direction. And lastly, as we plan for a more serious discussion moving forward, I feel now Kenyans can now be able to come around in all walks of their life, regardless of what they do, elites, non-elites, learned, unlearned, or basic, tribe, any tribe, we can come together and we can be able to build a political machinery which can actually be used by a regular Kenyan and go for presidency. I think in Kenya, we need to reach a level whereby we can talk of non-politicians holding specific offices. We can start doing that. People with no experience. This idea whereby we are always saying that for you to become a president, you have to be an MP, a member of parliament, senator, woman rep. We are missing the point. We have to make presidency affordable. We have to make sure that regular Kenyans can hold these positions. And we don't need people to be in an auction point whereby you have to think in a specific way. You have to support specific people so that you get into the instruments of power. No, we don't need to be that way. We can build movements within people. And this station is very important on building movements within people. We want to empower people. We want to empower regular people. We want to make sure that yule mama mboga pale, the regular person, his voice can be heard, and people can be able to feel what they want happening in their communities and in their societies. And they can also come here and hear their issues and their points. And through that, we are going to transform our nation, and we are going to have sane politics. You don't need to conduct dirty politics so that you what work on it. This idea whereby we always say that politics is dirty, I disagree with it. We can actually make politics clean. We can bring clean people there, regular Kenyans who can do the right thing. Till we meet tomorrow, thank you and shalom. Thank you.